Well, hello, hello. Yes, what is Sven covering today? Sven is going to be covering some stuff dealing with the late night campaign that I have. We were looking at the next encounter. They're in the middle of fighting this big manticore winged beast with these tail spikes and a lion face. Um, and so, once they're done with that, they're obviously heading out to their next one. So we're going to be looking at the map of the next one, uh, seeing what improvements need to be made. Going to be adding lighting to it, maybe tweaking it a little bit with shadows or adding stuff to it. And then we will be taking a look at the encounters themselves, make sure that they are the appropriate level and rating, challenge rating and stuff. So I'm going to take a quick second here to let my fan, that's right, all my fan, know I'm streaming so they can jump on and support me. All right, so we're waiting for Fantasy Grounds to load up. And while we're doing that, the you can check this. Don't forget, you can check out if the new see how this plays out. If I can get English is hard, you know. Um, it is my first language after all. So what we're going to be doing today, the changes I'm going to be making and things, you can watch live as the group goes through it. And that happens at 10 o'clock on Wednesday nights until about midnight or so. Also, it's on the socials, the U's and the tubes at Svenster77. Just search Svenster77 in YouTube and you'll find me. And then of my multiple playlists, this one is D&D in the Sven Zone, is what this one is. We have a Minotaur warrior who is an Echo Knight, so he can make a copy of himself and switch places with it and do all cool stuff with it. It's from the Critical Role book, Wildmont. And there's a Tiefling Barbarian, Wild Surge from Tasha's. Atomic, Hawaii, Hawaii, Hawaii. It's going really well. Yesterday was sort of a sneaky one because I don't normally stream on Mondays, but I was just trying to fill in, trying to get the algorithm for YouTube to become famous. But we got Dan Dazzle and Atomic in the house. So just so anybody watching understands, I actively have to type all this crap in every time I do a shout out to these guys. So I don't do shout outs unless I genuinely suggest you follow their stream. I don't just throw it up there for anybody that comes in. Um, both Dan Dazzle and Atomic Hero Squads are some of the better streamers I've seen just because they really interact well with their the people watching in the chat. They're both humorous, and they both don't do the same thing every time, which is to me I can understand feeling that niche that some of these streamers do, and all they do is one particular thing. But um, I've always loved variety in pretty much any aspect of my life except for my wife. So when it comes to what I watch, Atomic Hero Squad, he has certain things that he does each week on certain days. But even then, so like he does his Asphalt 9 on Fridays because that's when the new challenges come out for that game. But he only does that for an hour or so, sometimes two, and then he'll jump to something else. Uh, and that way, if you do like Asphalt 9, you can watch it. So point is, check them out, follow them, make sure you have your notifications on so you can see when they come on. Atomic is consistent early morning. It's a great way to start your morning. Uh, Dan Dazzle is a little more sporadic, but he's definitely worth it. When you see that notification come up, go and follow him. Check him out. Both great guys. So here we are. We are loaded, and Atomic says variety is the spice of life. So we are loaded. Let's go to our story. I made last time I was here. I made a group photo of them. That is also something I can do today. Is fix the group photo. If I can find where I hid it. Here it is. Ooh, I did not save it. Okay, so that is tip number 1 for today. When you spend a lot of time and you're going through and making a image or an encounter or story entry, you want to save it. Make sure that you know where it is so you can have easy access to it. So here's our late night group painting. And check it out, folks. What do you think? What do you think? That's our group. We have Jackson the Tiefling Barbarian I was telling you about. We have our Minotaur Warrior. And then they each have a sidekick. Minotaur's sidekick is a Cranium Rat. And Jackson's sidekick is a Craven named Cree. And, or Claven. I think he's a Claven. The race. It's a Minotaur guy. I mean, a Minotaur. A lizard guy. So, we had a new addition last week. Kita is joining us, and she's playing a wizard. So we actually have a lady in the party. The difference, so she didn't like this particular picture, although that was the first one she sent to me. All right, so it's I'm trying to remember her name. Lolin Kayanong Noka is her full name. She goes by Lolin. So I was a little hesitant. I wasn't actively pursuing players for this particular one because it's my brother and my son. And if you guys have never seen it, you definitely need to check out D&D in the Sven Zone. Because I like a lot of puns. Atomic and Dan know that That's pretty much what most of my chatting is. When I do chat, I'm either asking questions about this weird game I've never seen before, or I'm making some sort of dad joke. And my son is similar, but he's good. Unlike me, he's actually funny. And my brother has a dry wit as well, and the two of them play well off each other, going back and forth. So it's definitely humorous, a little bit more adult than some of my other streams. Uh, there is the occasional bad word that happens, um, but you should definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. So my point is, I wasn't really looking. I didn't want to break that symmetry, but Kita is my 21-year-old daughter. She knows both of them to some extent. Um, she herself is a really good role player, so I didn't see, I didn't think it would be an issue, and sure enough, she molds, interacts well with them. So we're gonna stick with this dynamic, see how it plays out, see how it goes. I think it should be fun. So what I was saying is she wants to change. I found two different images. So this is the one we want, but you can see it's all white around it. So we don't want it all white. We want it to be, we want this broken wall behind them to shine through. And if you guys are wondering, I made this by making the images pings, PNG files, and everything else is part of Fantasy Grounds. So the concrete wall, these blood splatters, this bloody handprint, it's all part of the D&D art pack. Anyway, before I go down this rabbit hole, let's get back to what we were going to do today. I have a tendency sometimes to get distracted. I don't want to do that today, so let's so one thing too, if you're zooming in or out, where you have the cursor does matter. So for example, if I put it right here, it zooms that way. If I put it over here, it zooms that way. So I'm using the mouse wheel to do that. So just so you know, uh, as you're trying to zoom in or out of your images, your maps, that type of thing, you can pick on something particular and zoom in or out where your cursor is. All right, so we're going to leave this up for a moment, just for a little eye candy for you. You're welcome. By the way, this is where they are right now. As I mentioned, they are, and you see, so as I zoom in, I'm zooming right where my cursor is. They're fighting this beast. He's got blood all over him because he's hurt. None of them are hurt at all because this thing, and there's the new player, Lolin. And there's a woman in here that they're trying to save. There she is. Eh, lovely, lovely. She's the potion maker, the only one in the town, so they were trying to get her to come back to the town to make so they can have somebody who can make healing potions and such. So that's what they're doing now. But when they're finished with that, it's going to change. So I go to my stories. Story. All right, so this one is oddly set up. Plus, I have tons and tons of different, as you can see here, I have Alien Bestiary, Monster Manual, NPCs. So I'm going to go to Dragon Device Fire Peak, open it up. So that way, all I see here is the Dragons of Icefire Peak. Boom. We are in So we're going to look here and see. Is the glossary the one I want? Is it? Is it? Is it? No. Okay. Um, Overview. Boink. So the Dragons of Icespire Peak is one of the starter kits. And so what it does is it has a lot of explanation. It's a great one for new players and new dungeon masters. So it goes through not only the role as a dungeon master, but also how to do it in Fantasy Grounds. So if you're new to Fantasy Grounds as well, you can also walk into the store and buy it off this is from the Dungeons and Dragons Essentials kit. So it has a lot of these explanations, how it works, um, how all these different things and how they interact. So it's really good for new players. Definitely something I would suggest. Any starter kit from D&D. There's a Rick and Morty starter kit. There's a uh, Stranger Things starter kit, and then there's also the Minds of Phandelver, which I think is my favorite starter kit that's out there. Um, so all of them have pre-made characters, so you can open it up, hand out the things to people, and start playing, or take half an hour to an hour as the guy who's going to be running it, the dungeon master, read through the first part. It'll explain everything, how it works, how it runs, and you can just sit down and start playing. It's really well done. All right, so getting back to this, what I'm instead going to do is I have a reference crib sheet, DM's crib sheet that I've stolen. I didn't steal, I just hotkeyed it. Um, so this will, and again, remember I was telling you about stuff. These are images from the DM screen. So you get a DM screen that comes with this. If you buy it in the store, and it has things like this. Tells you all about the different actions you can do. It has conditions. So if you're entangled, blinded, paralyzed, restrained, tells you what all they do. Everything right here. Um, they have your environment, light, how far you travel, how far if you're how far away you can see creatures and people, encounter distance, what that is, or how far you can hear them. What different cover, light sources. So all this stuff is part of a DM screen that you can set up in front of you so you can see these 4 pages facing you. You can just have access to them anytime you need them. Uh, it makes it really nice. And then, of course, the skills and abilities. Setting a difficulty check, how hard something should be, what level they are, how if they fall into a pit or a rock falls on them, what level depends on how much damage it does, that type of thing. They want to break something. Here's the hit points on how to do that. So really cool, good stuff. How much a hunk of cheese would cost is right there. So good stuff, really good stuff. Okay, so I'm actually going to add those to the message of the day real quick. Um, here are some great tools you may want to hotkey. especially conditions here and skills. If I can type, boy, my typing skills are failing today. Skills and abilities. All right, so we're going to throw down our 4 things. There we go. So now the players will be able to open this up and look at it and see it. I will need to fix the message of the day, so I'm going to minimize this to remind me. Again, I'm not going to. I have a tendency to get sidetracked, and I don't want to do that today. All right, so we're doing follow-up quests. So the Mountain Toe quest is what's next. All right, so what we're going to do is, I'm sorry, folks, but we're going to get rid of this lovely lady. I'm going to unlock this, move it way up, because what I'm doing is I'm changing the size. So if you or your players want to change the size of everything on your screen, you type /scale UI, all together one word, space, and it can be between 50 and 200. Right now I should be at 85. I want to normally stream at about 100. What this does, I'll do 101, just to give you that extra 1 today. So make things a little bit bigger. Don't want to lock the position yet. Pull it down. Well, just makes everything bigger. It's sort of like hitting Control plus or Control minus on a web page. And you'll have to adjust your chat bar and so things when you do that. So like you saw with what I did, this would be way down below the screen, so you'd have to pull it up. Anyway, it works really well when you're trying to arrange stuff. If you're working with a laptop, you can make everything a little bit smaller so you can fit more stuff there. If you have large screens, or like now when I'm streaming, so I want you guys to be able to read stuff a little bit better. Scale UI, and then 50 to 200. All right, so this is for characters of 4th level, which they are. They are level 4 right now. All right, so Don John Raskin. All right, so the Mountain Toes is a gold mine owned by Neverwinter, a consortium in the city of Neverwinter. It's been troubled by some productivity problems. The owner have hired a no-nonsense overseer to sort things out. But the mine has been taken over by a band of were-rats, calling itself the Whiskered Gang. So they're supposed to take Don John Raskin to the mine. That's cool. And if the adventurers don't help him, he will then be turned into a were-rat. Very cool. All right, so this just tells you all about Don John. Let's see. He's only considered a 1/2. So they tell you all about how awesome he is and how many exploits he's had and all the stuff that he's done. But he's only a 1/2. That's weird. Not dead yet. When he's reduced to 0, he goes to 1 hit point instead. All right. Um, he is a human. Interesting. Makes 3 melee attacks, and he's only at 1/2. So he's got some good stuff. I'm going to tweak some of this. So you can unlock this. Chink. His hit points are 44. See, there's no way. Okay, so his stuff is good. But what they did was they took the humanoid human, like the commoner stat block, changed it without changing the challenge rating. So this guy is easily 3. He makes 3 attacks. I'm going to make him 4, actually. And I don't remember off the top of my head, off the top of my grate, what a CR4 is worth. So let's go to CR. We'll just go down to 4. Open it up. We're going to open 2 to see how much. One is 1100. Yep, they're both 1100. Okay. So is this important? No. Will the characters ever see this? No. Is it wrong? Yes. So I fixed it. So now it's right and it's better and I feel better about it. So anywho, so he has 44 hit points. His armor class is high, definitely going to be higher than 10. So I'm going to say he's going to have, unlock it again. There we go. Armor class is 14. Still not superhuman. What? Angel took him out to meet whoever is here. All right. So, taking a look at the rest of his stuff, let's see. He's strength, dex, con, int, wisdom, charisma. I'm going to increase his dex by 12. And his strength up to 12. Just making him just a tiny bit beefier. All right, and so now instead of a dagger, I'm going to make this a. So we edit the list. Click. There we go. So we just go. I'm going to make it a. Just going to call it a sword. It'll be a small or a hunting knife. A big knife. Boom. And it's going to do average of 3. Actually, no, it's going to be an average of 4. Parentheses. 1d6 plus 1. Don't remember if there should be a period after this or not. Let's see. All right, so if I did it correctly, it should then highlight. Oh, we have to say what kind of damage it is. Piercing. Piercing damage. There should not be a period. I put the period in the wrong spot. All right, so that should work. Yep, there we go. So well, I accidentally had it highlighted and deleted it. Normally I would just change the number 4. And if you want to know how to figure out these numbers, it's typically half of the die. So a D8, the average of a D8 is 4. Of a D20, an average is 10. That's how it works when you use these numbers. So now I did it correctly. So this is going to be 4, 1D6 plus 1. Because we changed his strength to where he's +1 and his dex to +1. So either way, whether he throws it or stabs with it, it's doing that damage. And you can also double click it to make sure it works. All right. He does not. Oh, here it is, +2 to hit. Okay. So we're also going to change that. +4 to hit. +4 to hit. All right. So he's going to be using a staff sling or a sling staff. So a sling staff is a stick that has a sling on the top of it, and you use the momentum of the stick and the leverage to give you more strength and more range to your sling. And so it's not a slingshot where you go, no, it's where it's a like David Goliath sling. You put a little pouch of leather, you stick the rock in, and you swing it around your head. In this case, you swing it around with this stick. So he has a higher hit, and the range of a sling staff is. Where is my items? Here it is, items. Type in sling. I think I have sling staff with this. Let's see. Maybe I don't have it loaded all about this, all about the sling. Okay, so it's not a big deal. If I remember right, it is 90. All right, it might be 60, but either way, that's fine. And it's also going to do more damage. So if you'll notice, when you first click on this, no matter where you click within it, it just highlights the whole thing. If you start typing, it's going to erase it. That's what I did before. So use the arrow key to change it. So this is going to do 1d6 plus 1. So that's 4. 6 plus 1. Okay, there we go. So he makes 3 melee attacks. Or 2 sling attacks. Okay, boom, boom. Now we have our dude. Do we have a picture of him in here? We do. Excellent. All right, so that's who they're escorting. So the other thing I want to do is take my image of the Sword Coast that the players are using. And they're going to the northeast, 15 miles from Phandalin. There we go, Toe's Gold Mine. So what I'm going to do is I go into the story. Let's see where this isn't labeled. So I should be able to go here, go up to all. Let's see if I can There we go. Good. So we're going to go to the... Oh, I made a copy of it by mistake. That's fine. All I want to do is I'm going to put a... What does this say? So I'm opening up my copy. And I'm just changing this to Toll Gold Mined. Now run by... What was the dude's name? Don John something? Raskin. Don John Raskin. And so what this does is this allows me, and I'm going to change it to A so it's not the same. This allows me to then put a pin on the map. Boof. I'm going to move it into the mountain a little bit. I'll move my pin a little out of the way. And then, so now that I have this pin, right click on it and say make link shareable. It turned it green. So now the players can now see it. And when they put their cursor over it, that's what they see. Same thing here. So they see what these are. All right, so getting back to our story. They go northeast from the town, boom, and get there in one day before sunset. You get within 5 miles of the mine. A low ridge rises to your right. Okay. Well, ain't that something pointing ahead? Okay, so what I do is I like to... All right, so this is part of the reference manual that I'm in. So let's go to story again. 1 second, folks. Got a little bit of a animal aggro. So I want to make this quote an actual quote. So let's go to... All right, so this is the story entry. You can see the difference. This one is more fancy. This is the reference manual. And if you're curious about it, leave a comment, and I'll be happy to show you about the reference manuals. It's a really good way of using it. Some DMs only use the reference manual when they play. All right, so here we go. So here's the story. I'm actually going to close the reference manual because I don't need that anymore. So I'm using the storyline. Open it up. So what I do is I go here, hit enter, hit Control 3 to make it something that's put into the chat, and then right click on this and say assign speaker, Don John. So what the difference is you have this, and then this is a speech bubble. Well, ain't that something, Don, said John John, pointing at what appears to be 6 dead orcs. Looks like a white dragon. Saved us from some trouble. All right. Very cool, very cool. So if I wanted to, I could do this, make a map, make them, depending on how much time I wanted to use on this encounter, I could make a map using the Fantasy Ground stuff, either make it myself or use one that's already there, and add dead bodies. Make it, and so instead of just being a quick 3-minute interaction, it would probably turn out to be a 10, 15-minute interaction as they slowly move up and as they creep out and as they do different things. Anytime you throw a map at the players, it makes the characters think something's going to happen, which is why I intentionally add different encounters without an actual fight, so that if they see a map, it doesn't always mean that there's going to be a fight. So there's a couple different reasons of doing it. So I may still do that. I may still go back and add a encounter, but for now, we'll leave it the way it is. We'll close this up. One thing I do want to do though before I forget is I want to add it down here. What is this? Axholm. Okay, so Axholm must be later on. So I have worked on Axholm a little bit. Now that I open up that map, it reminds me I have done that a little bit, so I'm not sure. So anyway, we're going to go and move this over to, drop this down here, boom. So now I have the one where they currently are, this one, and Axholm, depending on which one they're going to go to. All right, so now they arrive at the west entrance to the mine. Did I miss the map? All right, so we don't have, here it is. Okay. No, I did not miss it. They just hadn't shared it yet. So here's the player's map. Here's my map. All right, so it says the characters arrive at the west entrance which you can describe. Hidden among bushes, a tunnel burrows into the foot of a soaring snow-capped mountain. Above the mouth of the tunnel is a wooden plank with the word Mountain's Toe carved into it in common. All right. Okay, so he was not given a map. He was not given, there's an eastern entrance as well. Good to know. All right, so all tunnels are hewn from the rock. Tunnel ceilings are 8 feet high, braced at intervals with wooden pilasters. Doors are made of wood with iron hinges and handles. None of them are locked. Oil lanterns hang from the ceiling hooks in every room and tunnel. Okay. So that's interesting. So we can do that right now. That's actually pretty easy. We'll zoom in on the map a little bit. It's going to make life easier for them. Oil lanterns. All right, so all you do is you open this up. I'll make it just a smidge bigger for those of you at home. And if you're still lurking around Atomic, I did see when you put the quote, and I appreciate it. I like it when people use the quotes. It's what they're there for, man. It's people to enjoy the quotes. I have 30 right now, so if you want to make sure you see them all, you can just put in quote and then space a number between 1 and 30. And that way you can know for sure, instead of it being random, you'll know you've seen them all. All right, so here we go. First of all, as always, I'm going to turn down the grid. I just don't like the grid that bright. Ooh, it's already at 102. Nice. Boom. Let's bring it down even more. Oh, so the map itself has a grid on it that matches perfectly. Okay, so that's fine. I'm just going to turn it off then. So this image came with a grid, so nothing you can do about that one. So we'll go to lighting. We go to add light. We go to preset. And it's a lantern. Boom. They already did it for me. Wow. Okay, cool, cool. So you can see they already have lighting set. This is interesting. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So that's what happens when you buy stuff from Smiteworks, Fantasy Grounds. So this map already has line of sight for me. It has all the doors put in there. See? Everything is already done for me. But getting back to the lighting, it says the lanterns are on the walls. So I am going to change. Go here to select light. Click. Move it up against the wall. It beats doing the work later. Yeah. Yep. And these ones that are here, I'm just going to... No, I think the lantern will be over here where it's a better fit. Just going to move these lanterns. Now, one could argue this is a crap ton of lanterns and it's going to take a crap ton of oil. So I don't know that it would be, all of these would be lit. So I'll have to think about that, give it some thought. I don't know much about the story yet. So we'll have to look and see if, the rats are actively using the mine, things like that, to see if these would be lit. If not, I'll just have them there and they can always light them. So if they decide to light the lantern or take one with them, stuff like that, they can do that. All right, so there we go. So now our lanterns are a little bit more up against the wall like they should be, hanging instead of in the middle of a room, the rooms. All right, and you can see some how the light interacts with each other and stuff. Anywhere that two dim lights, so this is bright light, and then it casts dim light out to about here. This one has dim light out to about here. So as these two dim lights interact, it becomes bright light. Pretty cool. Well, really well done how they did the lighting and everything in this. Okay. I'm going to kill this one. Delete, just hit the delete button. And now I'm going to move him up to here. Move you over to here. That one's actually pretty good. All right. Okie dokie, Smokey. Cool. So that saves me trouble from having to add all those. But if you were, all you would do is just, like I said, click this add, click lantern, and then everywhere you click, it adds one. Simple as that. So that's why that aspect of it, when you know what it is and you don't have to change it, it's pretty easy. All right, so now we'll minimize this. Right click, minimize. Here's our Mountain Toe players. Move this down. So if you're wondering what the difference is between the DMs and the players, this has no lighting. This is much lower quality graphics wise. It's just a tiny picture compared to a bigger blown up high def version for the players. And this one has like M7, M10 has all this writing on it for the Dungeon Master. It has things like uh, entrance. Uh, this one doesn't. It's just a mine, so it's not as much as would be on other maps. But it has notes for the map, the Dungeon Master, and things like that. Um, so this is nice to have as like a snapshot. In Fantasy Grounds, the nice thing is your player's map also has all these pins, so it's not a whole lot as much difference. Okay, moving on. The cave is guarded by two female rare rats in hybrid form. They offer to escort new arrivals to the mine's overseer. Okay, okay. So we need a picture of were rats. Do they come with a picture? They do not. All right. So, all right. So they're actually in this cave. Okay. So you can see when it says placement check check, that means that they're already the tokens are already placed, and all I have to do is click on the down arrow. It'll add it to the combat tracker and put their tokens where they should be. So all I'm going to do here is add. Let's go back to the map, the player's map. I'm going to add a picture of were rats. So we'll go to images. We'll go where. Just uncategorized all. All right, so we have were rat captain, were rat pack lord, same, okay. Were rat thug is the same, okay. And that's it. All right. So we have the two pictures of were rats. Neither one of them is a female. So I don't want to get stuck down this rabbit hole because it's something I do quite a bit. But I am going to check really quick, to see if the use and the interwebs has some female were rats pictures. All right, so there's this one. That's not half bad. A bit sexual, but then we got this thing. Okay, That's weird, but all right. Um, I don't understand what's happening with these bindings and stuff, but okay. This one's good though. I like this one. There we go. She's got armor. Um, Still definitely female. That was a cool one too. All right, so we'll go with this. So, let's see what happens if we click it. There we go. It takes us here. Save image. So what I'm going to do is, right now this is just in my Acme images folder for Fantasy Grounds to be used multiple times. This is a good enough picture that I probably will use it again. So I'm going to go where rat female, Famali, save. Let's see. No, that's not close. What about this one? All right, that's a little too much, a little too intense there. Let's see what this guy is. That's not bad. It's not bad. See, because I'm looking for other pictures to use later on. If this whole place is full of were rat, I don't want to use the same were rat picture all the time. So here's another one. Boom. Save image. Again, this is Fantasy Grounds. It's all my images that I use multiple times. And what I mean by that, were rat 2, is that I could save it just in this campaign. So you can put it on open up campaigns. So here I'll show you. If I wanted to, I could go to, instead of just going to my Fantasy Grounds images, go to your Fantasy Grounds, go to your campaigns. This is the campaign images, and just save it just for the use in this campaign. And once I delete that folder, it will go away as well. All right. Now I have my images that I want to use, but I don't have access to them. So you go to your assets. If you watch over here, let's assets. Watch in your chat. If you click refresh folder assets refreshed. So now if I go to my data, I'm in images. I have a lot, so it takes a moment. The blue circle of patience. All right, boom. And we go to the W's. I could also type in where we're at. So let's do that. Let's go back out. And there we go. There's all our rare rats. A rat. So this is the one we want. What is this? Okay. That's weird. Okay. All right. Not sure where that one came from, but I also have a rare assassin hiding somewhere. Another image I hadn't seen. So I've got some good. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different images I can use for this. And that's nice. I like it. I like having different things because they're not always going to be the same. Okay, so here she is. So I'm going to double click on it to create an image record. I'm going to leave it where it is, where rat female, because they can tell I don't have to do an unidentified. And we just drag this over, maybe lock it, drag it over, poof, there's my image. So now when they come, boom, I can show them the picture of a were-rat female. I can also put it in my story, open it up, boom, enter, and add the image, maybe. Add the image right there. So I've got it in my story and I've got it on the map. So they're taking them to area M4. Well, which area is M4? That's what the DMS map is for. It's right there. It's the next one over, this one. All right, so I'm going to take them down to here. So we have giant rats, we have were-rats, we have all right, so scattered about this cave are pickaxes, shovels, and other mining tools. The northeast section contains 4 giant rats. The southwest section contains were-rats in human form. And a female were-rat named Zaline, the leader of the Whiskered Gang. The were-rats invaded the mines after orcs pushed them out of their previous lair, an old shrine near Cornyberry. The were-rats say they'll go back to the old lair if the characters get rid of the orcs at the shrine, which they have. But this is only a ploy. The were-rats have no intention of leaving the mine. Characters who search the cave find 2 sacks hidden under debris. One sack contains 10 fist-sized chunks of gold. The other holds 82 silver and some copper, and some goggles of night. Nice. If the characters obtain and identify the goggles, cool. One of the nice things about this one also is they have treasure cards. So these are physical cards you can hand out to the players if you buy this at the store. Really nice. It reminds them of the items they have instead of just a word on a page, and it tells you exactly what it does. So it's really nice. And those of you who are wondering, the goggles of night let you see in the dark. Pretty simple. All right, so that's all it really says. It doesn't say that they will fight them. It doesn't say anything besides All right, I also don't like that there are no pictures. So let's see. It has Zeline Varnaster, the leader of the Whiskered Gang. All right, so let's just check real quick. I'm gonna zip through. All right, so the actual miners are being held here. That's good to know. They're in M14 and 15, which is over here, 14 and 15. Gotcha. Alright, and so that's out here is where the miners are buried who fought the dwarves. So these 5. Alright, so there's 5 dwarven miners who refuse to give up. Okay, dwarves have dark vision. They don't really need all these lanterns. Okay, so that answers my question about. So what that does is it gives me an idea. The only thing in here, there's a carrion crawler wandering around, which makes no sense at all. Because which one is this? M11? Oh, here it is. Okay. So there's a door, and then in this little, supposedly in this little area right here, is a carrion crawler. Not really sure. Again, I don't know. That makes no sense. Besides adding an encounter to this map, I may just ignore that and not put it there, just because if you don't know what a carrion crawler is, what it looks like, here we go. So these are large creatures. It's a giant thing, probably 10 feet long, 3 or 4 feet wide, uh, and it paralyzes people. But there's no reason for it to be here. It doesn't make sense. If you have a mine, the only thing I can think of is maybe they're feeding it. The miners would normally feed it, so they, but it doesn't really eat garbage and stuff, so I don't know. I don't like it. I'll have to think about that. Anyway, the point is, most of these lamps wouldn't be lit. Okay, anyway, so that gives me an overall view of what's happening at this mine. These rats have taken over. All of the rare rats are right here, in this one and this one. That's all the where they all are. There's one other pack of giant rats somewhere. Um, so I'm just gonna have them attack. So they'll talk with them for a little while. If they do let them leave, they will leave, but then they'll probably sneak around back and work their way in, or just come back at night. Um, okay, so let's find a picture for Zelene Varnaster. We will go back to our. Interesting. So there are more than I expected, that's for sure. Dragons at Icespire Peak. You can see some of the stuff that's been done there. What is this? Interesting. So this is like a little cave entrance that they did inside. All right, cool. Well, hey, that's something. But let's go with female ruffian. That's an odd phrase. So hopefully, if I put in like female, um, and we'll go with fantasy. Hopefully, it doesn't take it to a dark place. It did not. All right, this one's not bad. Keep that safe search on. Yeah, exactly. This one's okay. Let's see. What's on her bandolier? I think that's gonna be the main. That's looks like throwing knives. Okay, good. Feels like grenades or something. I wasn't sure what setting this was in. I like both of those pictures. She's holding scrimshaw. It's a little hard to tell. It's a tiny picture though. 121 by 300. All right, so that's going to be the deciding factor. This is just too small. 121 by 300. It's just too small. All right, so let's go with this one. Save image as. This one just is not. I'm not gonna. Do I want to keep this forever? We'll go with female ruffian. I saved it forever. I'm a hoarder when it comes to pictures and stuff. All right, so now again, assets. Refresh folder assets. Now we go here to all or images, either one. And we go to ruffian. Double click it. Create image record. Close it. All right, boom. Ooh, I misspelled it. That's sad. I know you guys are watching at home. We're like, it's wrong. It's spelled wrong. Fix it. Fix it. There we go. Again, so they're going to find out her name very quickly. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. Put her name here. Zelene. And we click this to make it unidentified. So now they will not see the female ruffian, they will just see Zelene. And we will add it to. Let's see, are there pictures of a giant rat? There are not. There are also no, the token is wrong. It's a G. I don't like G. So here we're going to go open. We're going to go click, click, click. Because we're going to have the female, we're going to have Zelene. And then we're going to have our other images. So you see the captain, the female, they're already here. So we're going to throw a rare rat picture in here. Boom. That's this one. We already have our other females from the other section. Oops, that's the wrong one. From this section of the map. So we'll open it up. And then I'm going to put a note to myself. Control 1. Cap locks. If fight ensues, use this image for Valine. Enter, and then we will put the image of the were rat thug. There we go. There we go. All right. And then now what we need is, I just close it. Premature closing is I need a giant rat. What? Why I didn't put in rat in the first place? Because I knew it would come up with also anything that has RAT in it. All right, hey, close enough. I'm not going to be that picky. So a rat is a rat. It's just big. There we go. Boom. All right, so we have giant rats. And we have Zelene. Those are the ones we care about. So I'm not going to worry about. Oh, we also need to put our token in. So we go to our assets. We go to tokens. And we go rat. Again, it's going to show anything that has a rat in it. RAT in it, but that's fine. So we can use our rat here. A dire rat. We have giant rats here. We have a hamster. Here we go. We can have a mean, ugly rat right there. Here's all our rare rats. Speaking of witches, let's take a look while we're here at our rare rat tokens. Rare rats. All right, so let's go ahead and I like these. I'm going to put this pog in there instead. So we open it up, throw this in there, boom. I like the little poggy effect. I'm just feeling the pog. I normally don't feel the pog. I normally like these guys instead. All right, yeah, actually I am going to put that back, put that in there instead. Boom. There we go. So for our rat, we'll just use our regular rat. That's fine. There you go. So now we got our pogs set, our tokens set. So last thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and just tweak this room. I'm not really going to worry about the rest of the map because which one's the message of the day? I gotta go find the map again. I closed it by mistake. Here it is. Boom. Because they're not going to be spending a lot of time on most of these things, but this one room they are going to be setting some, spending some time in here. And again, this is a rabbit hole. I had to be careful not to go down because I'll go in and I'll change the entire bottom floor, what the floor looks like. I'll change the doors so they're more than just white squares. I'll actually put wooden doors in there. I mean, there's tons of stuff you can do with the assets that are available in Fantasy Grounds. And if I'm not careful, that's what I will do. So let's see. It says barrels. Well, let's just type barrel and see what kind of. It says there are barrels and crates. Okay, so here we go. Oh, there we go. Boom. That's great. Open up our assets. So that was put on there as a token. Delete the token. All right, so we go to our layers. I'm going to throw this on as a layer. And so that allows me to just zoom it down and adjust it and change it. So you go back to your layer selection, hold down control so you can freestyle it, boom. So that's a good one. Throw a couple barrels over here. Just throw it up there. We're at 2.9. No, we need 0.5. Keep the aspect ratio. Put it. We have it on a stamp. So poof. Okay, and now we use control. We go back to our select and we just move them over. Come on. Okay, and now one of my favorite things to do is I'm going to take these 5, put them in a, so first thing folder, and we're going to take these 5 and put them all in the folder. Select the entire folder and say duplicate it. Now you take this copy, and just for clarity, in case I do decide to go down the rabbit hole later, we'll do barrels. This is barrels shadow. We take the copy. Right now we're on top. That's fine. We're going to move it just a smidge. Control. There we go. Move it just a smidge. We'll say the light's coming from there, so we'll go right there. And then we're going to take the tint and go 0, 0, way down to about 50. Bring this way down to about 90, 50 and 90. And then, okay. And then we move it to the bottom. And there you go. We have our shadow. And then we do the same thing up here. Create some barrels. Copy it. Take the duplicate. We're going to put it down below. Make sure we have it selected. Going to shift it just a smidge up into the north because they're going to be coming in from there. We'll just say this way. Go to our tint. 0, 0, 50-ish, 90-ish. Okay. So there you go. So now we have our shadows for our barrels and our sacks and stuff. What else was in this room? Scattered about this cave are pickaxes, shovels, and other mining tools. Okay. So I'm going to put all. We're going to do pick. We're going to do axe. There we go, a dwarven axe. See if it changes if I get rid of the E. Really? That's weird. Okay, so, oh, that's right. Your search parameters has to be at least 3 characters long. Alright, so this is the only one that fits. Let's see what it looks like if I just drop it in there. A little bit large. So let's go to 0.3. Maintain the aspect ratio. There we go. Okay, there we are. Alright, so now we have some axes. We'll throw this up here. Again, holding control. Boom. And then we're going to duplicate it. Oops, no, I don't want to do that. Delete. So what I did was I had this selected, so it duplicated the entire thing. Is it not going to let me delete it? Delete selected layers. Delete, 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 delete. Alright, well, I'll just turn it off. Not using lights, everything's off. Alright, so it won't let me delete it. Anyway, so now I'm going to pick the dwarven axe, duplicate it, duplicate it. Okay, so now we'll go zoom in a little bit. We'll take this copy. Oh, it's making it, for some reason it's invisible. There we go. That's why it wasn't working. Alright, so now we'll take this, we'll do control, zoom in, turn it. And we're going to put him over to the side a little bit. Put him in this little nice little section right there. Boom. Okay. We will take this one. Come on. We will flip it. Rotate it. All right, so do we have a shovel? We do. We have a couple. Cool. So we'll go to our painting layer. No, we'll just go, keep going with the layers. I like the layers so far. Boom, this is 2.9 by 5. No, thank you. You should be, I'll say 1. So I'll say a 5-foot tall shovel is not bad, even though these are dwarves. It might be too high though. Let's take a look. We got a stamp. Boom. Yeah, that's exactly, it's not what I wanted. All right, so we're going to take this. Will let me manipulate it? It does. Okay, so we go down to about what I wanted. I'm going to throw him over here. We're going to hold shift and turn it. I put another one on there. Delete it. Click layer selection. Click. Why isn't it letting me change it? All right, where's my shovel? Here it is. Just going to turn it a little bit, move it over, boom. Okay, now I'm going to make a copy of that. We're going to flip it. We're going to turn it. I'm going to shrink it just a smidge. I can make shadows of that too if I wanted to, but I don't care. All right, so now we're going to drop this puppy in here. Boom. We're going to make it, let's see, what does it look like? That doesn't seem to match this ratio at all, but 1.3. Okay, I guess it is 1 point high. All right, so we're going to change this to 1. Slap another one here. Now we go to our layer select. We're going to bring him down. We're going to put him like laying on top of this. Underneath this one is fine. We're going to turn it a little bit. Bring it down. That's good enough. And we're going to take this guy. Move him up here. And we're actually going to leave him close to this size and just stick him underneath up here. We'll turn him just a bit just to give a little bit of a... Come on. There we go. Wow, that was more difficult than it should have been. There we go, boom. All right, so we've got some shovels. We have some picks. We have some crates. We are golden. There are other tools. There are other woodworking tools and tinker tools and things you can use, but that's fine. All right, so we are ready to go with our encounters, with our stuff. Our setup here is ready to go. We have our map. We have our pictures. Making an extra layer really messed everything up. I think because I lost some of my pins and stuff. But that's why you do multiple. There we go. Alright, so let's make sure everything works the way it should if I didn't mess everything up before. Use lights. Okay, where's my lighting? Lighting. There it is. On, off. Oh, okay, because yeah, that works. Alright, I know. Alright, it's cool. So it looks like everything is working like it should. All we need is the players. There we go. That's the view I was looking for and I was waiting for. I was getting a little freaked out there. Let's see. Cool. Alright, so once we move it, boom, there we go. Alright. This would not have any lights. Does it have lights? Let's see. It does. It would not because they are. What'd you do? Okay, good. So these are off. Alright, anyway, because the carrion crawler is there. Alright, folks. Well, hey, I'm finished for today. I will let you guys go. Again, we play this. You can see this group in action. I'm going to fix this art, fix my message of the day. So I will do that on my own time. Won't make you guys sit through that. If you do want to see it, leave comments and I'll be glad to show you guys what I do and how I fix that. I do cover the message of the day in several different videos that I've done because it's something that I try to update after every session. Just so the characters, when they come on, they see the message of the day. So like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Don't forget about Atomic Hero Squad and Dan Dazzle. It's Dan_Dazzle, Atomic_Hero Squad. Check them out. Show them some love. And whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day.